Frank Beck Chevrolet Studio Annex. This is Time Out Overtime on the Time Out Overtime YouTube channel. I'm your host, Rick Personal. And I wanted to wait and do the show today until after the Twins and Guardians game was over. That ended about 45 minutes ago. Talk about that. Talk about Tigers, of course. Lions. Is this a must-win Sunday? And something very unfortunate for the Dan Campbell family. We'll talk about that momentarily. Hang on. Okay, let's do this. You know, colder weather is closer than we want it to be. I know it's still hot yet. We still got mid-80s during the day. And this is nuts. It won't last much longer. My voice probably won't either. But if you look at the forecast, not just for next week being fair week, cooler, wetter weather, but if you look at the first week of October, that looks like real fall. So our 80-degree days are just about ready to come to an end. I say thank God for that because I've had my fill of the summer. Anyway, yeah, the colder weather is closer than we want it to be. And the service department at Frank Beck Chevrolet says now is the time to make an appointment to make sure your vehicle is ready for the winter weather ahead. Let them check the strength of your battery, your belts and hoses, wiper blades, antifreeze, and more. Plus, now's the perfect time to get those new tires. So you don't go skipping and sliding down the highway. And if you don't think your car will make it through another winter, let the sales pros at Beck's help you find a vehicle for all seasons. You know, the 2025s are rolling in pretty much nearly every day, so their selection is tops. Check out their inventory on their webpage at frankbeckchevy.com or stop by the dealership on M99 between Hillsdale and Jonesville. 517-849-2886. Let them help you experience the Frank Beck difference. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. The slide for the Minnesota Twins continued today with a 10-inning walk-off loss to the Cleveland Guardians, who were popping champagne after the game because they clinched the American League Central Division title today. So congratulations to them. You know, people ask me, just a second. People ask me if Tarek Skubal is threatened by anybody else in the American League as far as the Cy Young Award goes. And yeah, there is one pitcher out there. The Cleveland Guardians closer Emmanuel Clase, 46 saves. He has not blown a save this year. He's 46 for 46. He's only given up 5 runs all year. He's been virtually unhittable. He's been that good. He's been Mr. Automatic. He's got probably the best closer since Mariano Rivera. And again, he's got the same kind of pitch. He's got an unhittable cut fastball. And that's about his only pitch. He throws it for strikes, and it's virtually unhittable. So, yeah, probably the closest thing we've seen to Mariano Rivera in quite a while here. So if you're wondering if Skubal has the Cy Young Award wrapped up, I would say the odds of that are pretty good. But what with the Guardians winning the division title and Clase pitching so well, I'm sure he will get some votes. There's something to think about. I still like Skubal's chances, but he's not a lead pipe cinch hitter. It wouldn't shock me. Well, maybe it would if Clase would win, but I think the vote will be closer than a lot of people think. Anyway, congratulations to the Guardians. I might have said the Indians. I still can't get used to them being the Guardians yet, but congratulations to the Cleveland Guardians, the 2024 American League Central Division champions. Tigers. On August, I believe on August 11th, I think it was August 11th. They were 55-63. Since then, they've gone 25-10, 15 games over since then, the best record in baseball. So they've gone from being 8 games under to 8 games over 500. If you're wondering about this run, there's only been one other team in Major League Baseball history that's made a run like this. It's gone from 8 games under 500 in the month of August to going on and making the playoffs. That was the 1973 New York Mets, who would get to the World Series, where they lost to the Oakland A's. Gosh, that was a long time ago. The 1973 New York Mets were the only other team to have done it so far. The Tigers haven't done this yet, but with each win, they become a little closer. It gets a little. I keep trying to tell everybody to pump the brakes and temper their enthusiasm, because they've got 9 games left. Yes, they are. Tigers and the Twins right now are both 80-73. Twins, as you probably know by now, have the tiebreaker. What do I mean by that? Well, by virtue of the fact they won 7 of the 13 games that the two teams played this year. If they do finish in a tie, the Twins have the tiebreaker. So very simple math tells you in these last 9 games left for both teams. However many games the Twins win, the Tigers would have to win at least one more. Give me an example. If the Twins go the way they're playing now, they got next 3 games are in Boston. They come home for 3 with the Marlins and end up at home for 3 with the Orioles. Tigers have 3 games in Baltimore starting tomorrow. They come home next week for 3 with the Tampa Bay Rays and 3 with the White Sox. You have to wonder too. Look, if I'm the Tigers, I think if you go to Baltimore and just win 1 of the 3, I think you should be in pretty good shape. But let's say the Twins in the last 9 games go 3-6. The Tigers would have to go 4-5. They would have to finish the season with 1 more win at Minnesota. By the way, the Yankees, I think, popped their champagne last night. They have won the American League East, so congratulations to them. And thank you, because I think the Mariners are now 2.5 games behind the Tigers. And their schedule, in their last 9 games, I think they're playing. They're in the division. They're playing the Rangers for 3, the Astros for 3, and they finish up for 3 with the Oakland A's. So, pardon me, their last 9 games are all within the division. Unsung heroes. I don't have time today, but I can recite names coming out of the Tiger bullpen that you've never heard of or you're not familiar with. This is what they've done, what they've accomplished to this point. This doesn't make any sense. Not one lick of sense or logic. They were sellers at the trade deadline. And I love the theory that eventually this Hollywood scripted pipe dream, if you will succumb to common sense. Call me an naysayer, but I still think it will. It's been a nice story. They piqued our interest. When was the last? Go back to 2016 was the last year. I think the Tigers won 80 games. I think they won 88 that year. I don't think they made the playoffs that year at all. They had to get in on the last day of the season in Atlanta, and I think they lost that game. I'll have to go back and look at that. But this is it. They've got the first time in 8 years that they won 80 games. I myself, at the beginning of the season, picked them to go 87 and 75. They can still do that, but they'd have to go 7-2 in the last 9 games. Is it doable? Yeah. But look, let's look at these last 9 games a minute that the Tigers have. If you just win one game at Baltimore, come home and take 2 out of 3 from Tampa, and sweep the White Sox, you're 6-3. 6-3. If you're 6-3, I don't see the Twins going 6-3. Even if the Twins go 5-4, the Tigers would get the nod. Yeah, I think if they just win, if they won 2 games this weekend in Baltimore, then I think they'd be playing with house money. Got to remember too, after the 3 games that the Twins have with the Red Sox, they come home for 3 with the Marlins. Marlins might be the National League equivalent of the Chicago White Sox. They do finish at home 3 against the Orioles. Orioles, I think, walked it off today against the Giants in Baltimore. It's caught up on baseball, I guess. Is there anything else I wanted to say in regard to the Tigers? Like I said, one of these days, we'll go over who the unsung heroes are. By the way, since Parker Meadows came back, folks, the Tigers are 30-11 since Parker Meadows came back. And as I say, that 25-10 since August 11th is the best in baseball. And by another stat I wanted to throw at you, since August the 1st, the Tigers lead the league in going 1st to 3rd on singles. Really, I mean, there's so many unsung heroes on this team. Another thing I'd like to point at for having fueled this resurgence, if you will. Hang on here just a second. Sorry to keep having to do this, but it's the only way I'm going to sustain my finishing the show here. As I think I told you before, I've been told to drink enough water until I got it coming out of my ears. So stay hydrated. I think the Tiger, I don't think it's any coincidence since I've called it addition by subtraction. I don't think it's any coincidence. The Tiger defense has stabilized since Javier Baez went away. I think Trey Sweeney has had a stabilizing effect on the defense, and of course, gosh, what can you say about Parker Meadows in center field? He simply outruns balls in the gaps, leaping high over the fence to steal home runs, and he makes it look easy. He might be the best athlete on the team, I think. And then you think about the beginning of the year, when Parker wasn't hitting, Torque wasn't hitting, they both got sent down. By the way, Torque did make a very nice play in the 9th inning last night to help secure the win. So if you want to nitpick a little bit, the Tigers have been leaving a lot of guys on base. They're still not getting clutch hits with runners in scoring position. Maybe they're not changing Baltimore. Oh, by the way, too, if they do make it to the playoffs, I want to run this by you, too. If they should make it to the playoffs, Major League Baseball has cut a deal with Strauss, 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 a German workwear company. Every batter in the playoffs will have the Strauss name and logo on the side of their batting helmet. The logo being an ostrich, because Strauss is the German word for ostrich. So if you're wondering what that is while watching the baseball playoffs, what that is on the batting helmets, that's an ostrich. I think this is a 4-year deal that they cut with them. Give you a heads up, when you're watching playoff baseball in a couple of weeks, week after next, uh, you wonder what that is on their helmet. Now you know. Okay, before we get into the Lions and this unfortunate Dan Campbell story, let me quickly put in a good word for a good man who, without his assistance and patience and knowledge, I wouldn't be able to do this. That would be Tim Lindley at Quality PC in downtown Hillsdale at 37 Walden Street, a couple of hundred feet west of Howell. Get in there and see him for all or any of your tech service needs. He's the best man in our area. Hands down, it's not even close. Tim Lindley, Quality PC, whatever your issue may be, computers, new or used, sales and service. If the computer you have now needs a little work done on it, Tim will take care of that in the shop. Maybe you're buying a flat screen TV or about to purchase one, you're going to have that mounted, programmed. Your large screen, smart 4K TV, and that's not a problem. He'll take care of that for you. Maybe you're changing internet providers, you need installation for that. Printers, new or used, anything at all. Tim Lindley at Quality PC is the guy you want to see. I have, as I've said before, one of the nicest men you'll ever want to meet. At 37 Walton Street, downtown Hillsdale, 517-610-5372. Or again, get in there and see him at 37 Waldron Street. And when you do, please tell him me and Mickey sent you. Would you please? Thank you. Quickly, as far as the Lions go, a bitterly disappointing loss. Before we get to the Lions, I did want to mention Michigan is playing Southern Cal Saturday at the Big House, 3:30 start. The Trojans, I believe, are 5.5-point favorites, with the over/under being 45.5. Michigan State Spartans travel to Chestnut Hill to take on the Boston College Eagles. I think Boston College is 6.5-point favorite. Over/under on that game, I think it's 46.5. That gets you caught up on Michigan and Michigan State. As far as the Lions go, yes, a bitterly disappointing loss to a very good Tampa Bay team, which they outplayed. I got into that Tuesday, in overwhelming stats after the game. The numbers, Lions, almost 500 yards of total offense. Yeah, their issue was in the red zone. Maybe play calling, execution in the red zone. The offensive line did not have a very good game. You might say, as the offensive line goes, so goes Jared Goff. Penny Sewell apparently is not 100%. He's got an ankle issue. This was the ankle that he hurt in training camp. He's not 100%. Graham Glasgow has not been 100%. Frank Ragnow did not have a good game Sunday. So hopefully they can play better than they did last Sunday in the desert. A lot of the so-called experts or prognosticators are picking the Cardinals to win the game. Lions have not lost back-to-back games since October of 2022. I'll make my prediction Saturday afternoon. Back at practice. Anzalone was back at practice today. Apparently, he's been cleared to play after his concussion protocol. Marcus Davenport, defensive end Marcus Davenport, was also back at practice. Graham Glasgow was back at practice today. Still out and not practicing were Ennis Rakestraw and Terrion Arnold. I don't know if they're going to play Sunday or not. I don't think Rakestraw will. As far as Arnold goes, I don't really know what his issue is. But as far as Sam Laporta goes, you're wondering why they haven't used him much the first couple of games. Apparently on his radio show, Dan Campbell said Tuesday that he's been dealing with a hamstring issue since training camp, and they're trying to ease him in. These are in his words, so maybe he'll get a few more targets on Sunday. Will it be the end of the world if the Lions lose Sunday? I don't think it will, but if they would lose Sunday, they go to 1-2, then they come back home for a Monday night game against the 3-0. I expect them to win on Sunday. The 3-0 Seattle Seahawks and Geno Smith. Some of these people too calling into the flagship, blaming the loss on Dan Campbell's Applebee commercials, and blaming Goff's ineffectiveness on the fact that he got married. This is absolutely nuts, just crazy. And then on top of all this, the Campbell family, which had a very beautiful home in Bloomfield Hills, which is in Oakland County, moved in there 3 years ago, purchased it for a sum of about $3 million. They had to sell their house, citing security concerns. And they sold the house within a matter of hours for about $4.5 million. They became the Campbell family were a victim of doxing. Doxing, which until this came up, I had never heard of this word or this phrase. You probably haven't either. A doxing. Doxing is the act of sharing someone's private information online without their consent. The term is short for dropping docs, which refers to the act of releasing documents with malicious intent. Malicious intent. Doxing can include sharing information such as a person's name, their home address, their phone number, their workplace, their financial information, private photos, social security numbers, and personal texts. Doxing can be done by researching public databases, hacking, social engineering, exploiting publicly available information on social media, and betraying the trust of someone known. Doxing is often used to shame or embarrass people and can be motivated by personal revenge or political ends. It has become increasingly common in recent years. I was not aware of this, particularly on social media and in gaming communities. This is so sad. Apparently, victim of doxing, so people found out where they lived, where Dan Campbell and his family lived. As a prank, there were a group of contractors sent to the Campbell home to make repairs that were never needed or requested. And it got even worse after Sunday's loss to Tampa. They had not just a few people, but a lot of people in their yard. It's a gated house or community. Apparently, they found some way of circumventing that. And it simply got to a point where they had to leave and leave in a hurry, like right now. They did. They found a nice home. And this is what has the world come to, really, when this sort of thing happens. It's so sad. It's a beautiful home, and something like this happens. I just feel not only for Dan Campbell, but his whole family. And we wish them nothing but peace and tranquility in their new dwelling and privacy. And someone said today that wouldn't be surprised if they find out where their new home is and this starts all over again. I would certainly hope not. Gosh, I hated to hear this. It's sad. The only word I could use to describe this is sad. Is this what the world has come to now? Anyway, that's going to about do it for now. I think we're done here. Don't forget, every Saturday morning here locally from 9 to 10, Time Out with Andy Brown and Jed on WCSR 92.1 FM. And until I talk to you again on Saturday, remember, please treat each other with respect. Have a good rest of your evening. So long, everyone, and go Tigers.